We're getting a free Zeta and lots of modding salvage on May 4th, but there's a whole lot to cover, so let's dive right into it. What's up, everybody? Welcome back. There has been quite a lot of information dropping since yesterday. At the time I put out my video, they had updated with the Zeta on Anakin. They have also talked about what we will be getting on May 4th. They have clarified some issues concerning Padme's gear. They've also done a Q&A about their intentions of Padme, explained the mechanics behind Protection Up. They've also given out the event calendar, which teases a 3v3 territory wars here this month. There is a lot of information, so buckle up. Apologies if this video goes a little long. There's just a lot of stuff to break down that's happened since my video yesterday. Big news, of course, May the 4th. May the 4th be with you. We will be getting double drops for the duration of May 4th. Hard nodes in light side and dark side, fleet battles and cantina battles are rewarding double drops on May 4th and May 5th, depending on the player local time, so your daily refreshes, that is when they'll start and stop. And additionally, we will be getting 20 free Zeta materials given to us in our inbox, along with mod slicing salvage. These will be coming to us between the 4th and the 8th. You have to log in each day to get that day's reward, so please do keep that in mind. And you can see here plenty of different salvage for it, and we will also be getting a sale of 25% additional crystals within certain crystal packs, so probably the vault and probably the $20 So probably the vault and the $20 purchase in the store will give you bonus crystals. We'll see when that finally happens. So yeah, awesome. Big thank you to CG. The free Zeta is super helpful because we're in a bit of a Zeta crunch, and I know this is something that's been popping up a lot lately because we have a lot of Zetas with the Darth Revan team and now the Galactic Republic team. Two teams that came out within 2 weeks of each other, and there's a total like 10 or 11 Zetas between the two teams. Yeah, you need a lot of Zetas for these teams. So we're in a bit of a Zeta crunch right now, so a free Zeta like this one coming with a gift, that is fantastic. I'm super excited for that. Now, moving on to Padme's gear. This is one that I brought up last night in my video. This has been one people have been talking about. Padme is a very, very difficult character to gear, to say the least. She requires a lot of gold strength pieces, Carbontes, stun cuffs. She requires 3 of the new gear pieces, those Cryotech ones, or Chirotech, can't remember how you pronounce them. She requires 3 of those. And CG has come out and said that yes, they put a little too much more gear than they intended on her, and they are going to be rectifying that in a different way. Now, a lot of people were wondering if they would just reduce the gear requirements, but the side effect of that is going to be that you're going to reduce her stats in return. That's a big problem with some of these characters. Like, you look at characters who are easy to gear up, their stats are really not that impressive because they don't require a lot of the purple pieces. Meanwhile, General Kenobi needs something like 11 or 12 Carbontes, and he is stacked when it comes to health and the strength statistic. So if a character has a lot of hard gear on them, that means they're much more beneficial in the stat department, and that's something they want to continue with Padme. So they will not be reducing the gear requirement. However, they are going to be rewarding us gear with her events. So as you complete tiers 5 through 7 in her legendary event, you will actually be getting some reward gear. You can see here at the top that they gave her 2 more gold strength pieces, or the gold strength balls, than they intended for her to have. She got an additional stun cuff, and she got an additional Mark V stun gun that they did not intend for her to receive in her gear. And as a result, they will be rewarding those extra pieces to us in the legendary event. So if you complete tier 5, you'll get pretty much 1 gold strength piece right away. At tier 6, you'll get the free stun cuff. And then at tier 7, you will get the other gold strength piece and a free Mark V stun gun as well. So this kind of helps reduce her gear requirements a little bit. Still sucks that her Chirotech pieces that you pretty much can only get from like 1 node or have to buy in shipments, we will not see any reduction in those or any free gear for that. So you'll still have to pretty much buy 3 of those from shipments. But overall, this is a really nice compromise. I'm pretty well pleased with this one. I was afraid they would reduce her gear requirements and then nerf her stats. That was something I was kind of hesitant on. and not really excited for, but thankfully they're not reducing her stats or her gear requirements. They're just going to give us some free gear in return. So that's a nice middle ground compromise for this. Now, over to Protection Up. People have been asking about Protection Up, and side note, anything that I'm discussing in today's video, there will be links to it down below in the video description, so feel free to check all that stuff out. Another thing they talked about was Protection Up. There's two kinds of bonus protection in this game. There's Protection Up, and there's bonus protection, which you currently have on Enfys Nest and Traya. And in my video yesterday, I had concerns that the protection with Padme would give the max health down with Jedi Knight Revan. That will not work because that is Protection Up instead of bonus, or excuse me, that is bonus protection like you see with Traya and Nest, and not Protection Up. They're two separate things, just like bonus turns are different from bonus turn meter. Two different mechanics. It's really confusing. Probably could do a video on it someday. But as it stands right now, Protection Up buffs that you get with Padme will not cause your characters to get the max health down debuff from Jedi Knight Revan, so you don't have to worry about that. Now, there is some rules here. Obviously, number one, Protection Up is based on max health, just like bonus protection, and that saw the nerf to Enfys Nest against Jedi Revan. And by default, Protection Up is not intended to stack with Protection Up from the same source, so if you have two different characters give Protection Up, they will stack with each other. But if you have one character who's constantly providing Protection Up with the same ability, like Padme's basic can constantly give the Protection Up, it will not stack with itself unless it's specified in the kit that it does stack. So if you have a character that's constantly giving Protection Up from the same mechanic, it will not stack unless it's specified. And additionally, this also gives out the example with Grandmaster Yoda. His Master Stroke and his Battle Meditation can give out Protection Up, and how you can use this to trigger a pre-taunt on Kenobi at the start of the fight. Hint, that'll probably be useful when you're fighting Darth Revan teams. Now, number three, Protection Up from a source will replace any current Protection Up from that source on the unit unless it is signified as stacking. So, here we go. Ahsoka Tano Fulcrum. She uses Balanced Strike and creates Protection Up on herself and another random ally that doesn't have it. And then she can counter and then use Balanced Strike again. She'll replace it on herself with the new Protection Up. So it will always refresh with the new stack. That is something nice here because in case someone gets damaged and then they have another protection come up, it will automatically go ahead and replace it. And then Protection Up will protect against damage in the order the effects were applied. Pretty much, I'm not going to go into the whole technical details here. If you guys do want to read this for yourself, again, video links are down below. We still have a whole lot more to get to. Developer insights for Padme Amidala. Pretty much, they start talking about what they're trying to capture with her legendary event, talking about how it's the arena battle and Geonosis and Star Wars Episode 2 Attack of the Clones. So that's what they're trying to go for with the legendary battle. And how they used it to create her kit. It's a really interesting read. I highly recommend you guys check it out. Again, we'll be down in the links. And here you see the synergy suggestions. General Kenobi, Anakin, and Ahsoka are obviously the big ones. And then 3PO and Grandmaster Yoda are two optional ones they have down there. Work as a fifth slot. I think 3PO is going to be better than Grandmaster Yoda, but we'll see how that works. What mod should I use on her in general? Speed, obviously. Who should go first in battle, Padme or Ahsoka? Either character will work great there. And talking about the favorite parts. Here's where it gets interesting. The insights and what they're expecting with Padme. Obviously they talk about the synergy between Padme and Anakin. We'll talk about Anakin's Zeta here a bit more in a little bit because there has been some talk and discussion and controversy about that. But here is the big thing that you guys need to take away from this. This is going to be a counter to Jedi Knight Revan teams and Darth Revan teams that do not have Darth Malak. If you have Darth Malak on the Revan team, it's going to be a very big uphill battle. I was talking to people who did testing. They said they'd really rely on good luck and super strong mods on their teams to have a chance to beat Darth Malak with those Darth Revan teams. So if you're fighting Darth Revan teams that don't have Malak, you will do pretty well. You'll be able to beat them pretty easily. Same with Jedi Knight Revan teams. But once Malak gets in there, it's not going to be that strong, and this should be expected since, Malak and Revan are the two new, journey characters and really hard legendary. that really has to be the king team. So, you know, it can't really be an easy team to beat them. So it can happen, but it's not going to be easy, so do keep that in mind. And they say it here, who are the squads you do not want to fight? Malik takes reduced damage, so, you know, really big uphill battle there for that, plus the critical hits with the team. Overall, it's going to be very easy for Malik to defeat a Padme team, so not really the best option to go for here. Now, as for the Zeta, this one's interesting. If Padme Amidala is an ally, she takes a bonus turn after each of Anakin's bonus turns. This is a Zeta, and it seems odd because it doesn't directly affect Anakin. However, this is something they brought up already. This is beneficial if you're fighting Darth Revan teams because when someone falls below 50% health, there's an automatic unresistible deep death mark put on the leader, which is going to be Padme in this scenario. At which point Anakin's going to take a bonus turn, he'll move, and the bonus turn guarantees the character moves next no matter what. So he'll move, and then the Zeta will trigger a bonus turn on Padme, and then she'll move, at which point the death mark will go away from her. That's the big thing to keep in mind here. So the Zeta is beneficial for fighting against Darth Revan teams, but outside of that, I can't really recommend that you put this one on her or on Anakin. It's very niche. It's very situational, so I'm not really high on it. It's pretty nice overall, but it's not going to be one that you sit there and say, oh wow, this is like a top tier Zeta. It's good for countering Darth Revan, but beyond that, you're not going to get a huge return on it. So please keep that in mind if you put the Zeta on him. So overall, it's an odd one. Doesn't directly benefit Anakin, which is weird for a Zeta, but it does make the team a little bit better, so you do have that argument for it, but still not enough for me to recommend putting this as a top priority Zeta for the team. And for those of you who are wondering, I'll probably have a modding and Zeta priority guide for you guys sometime this weekend once I get my hands on the team and able to iron some things out. Now, let's dive over to the event calendar. Nothing here that's really interesting until you get right here. Look at that. Territory War 76, starting May 23rd, 3v3. We are getting trios in Territory Wars. We don't know much beyond that. We don't know like the limits and how many teams we have to set, but I would expect them to set quite a few. So please keep this in mind that the more people you have sign up, the more teams you're going to have to set in those zones. It's not like Grand Arena where it scales based off of galactic power. It scales off the number of players that you have signed up. So this will be interesting. I'm hesitant to say I'm excited for this. I want to see more of this before I can give a thumbs up or thumbs down on it. But right now, I'm very cautious on a 3v3 territory war. So we do have that coming up the end of May, so be ready for that. And of course, I'll be updating my list of offensive and defensive territory war and Grand Arena teams here soon. We're due for an update anyways. I haven't done territory wars since October, so I'm definitely due for updating a list on that. So keep an eye out for those videos sometime here in the next few weeks, hopefully, before this 3v3 territory war pops up. And of course, it never fails. We just got the content update. I'm trying to edit this video, and more stuff comes out. Content update. Everything we already covered, you know, the May 4th plans, Padme Amidala, and the insights, all that stuff. One big thing to note here, aggressive negotiations will be starting at 10 a.m. Pacific time, May 2nd, which is tomorrow, the time I'm editing this. So please be ready for that. And one big thing here that they just put out with this content update, the Emperor Shuttle is now going to be farmable. You will find it in Dark Side Battle 7D Hard. So if you guys want to farm that, by all means go ahead. Overall, I have not been impressed with it as a ship, really. I have Millennium Falcon and I have Ebon Hawk. I mean, it becomes kind of redundant once you have Millennium Falcon. So if you need to counter Millennium Falcon and you don't have Millennium Falcon, the shuttle works great. Otherwise, it's just kind of there. So that is going to be it for this video, guys. A lot of stuff to cover. And again, anything I discussed, they will be in the video description down below, so definitely go check them out if you want to read along or see what it is, to see anything that I may have missed when I didn't cover. So definitely go check out all those links. Thank you guys so much for watching. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys have enjoyed the video. As always, guys, I will talk to you all later.